this week's episode with me from Livewire TV. Livewire TV is the place where we like to talk all about business strategies, marketing, and mindset to help you guys as business owners to learn, level up, and grow. Livewire TV is a part of Livewire Media, where we do corporate videography and video marketing. Now, each week we have an incredible guest that is an absolute expert in their space to empower you guys to learn something new about business and apply different strategies to your own business too. This week I've got the incredible powerhouse that is Brenda Dempsey. Brenda is amazing at empowering other people, positivity, high vibes, and most recently in the last sort of few years she's been helping people just like yourself to write books. She helps them to up-level their confidence in writing books, learning what to do, how to go about doing everything, because let's be honest, when you're writing a book it can be very confusing, very time consuming, very costly in some cases. Brenda will help you to deal with all of that in an easy, manageable, simple way, and she's an absolutely lovely person. She's always a delight to be around. She is the life of the party. Brenda, welcome to Livewire TV.
Wow, Rohini, thank you very much indeed. What a wonderful introduction. It always doesn't matter, I get blown away because I'm always sitting and listening and I think, are they talking about me? You know, and that's what I think is important, is to stay grounded, you know, as my family remind me, you're just a wee lassie for Clydebank that was born in a tenement, you know. So I've always got to keep rooted to where I began, but it is where I began, but and as I say, it's not where I'm going to finish. You know, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So I'm definitely on a mission, as you say, to empower, enable others to be the best that they can be in their chosen field and show them what's possible, because I accelerate potential. And the way that I'm doing that these days is through books.
Amazing, amazing. So guys, we're broadcasting live across Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube globally. I cannot see which country you are watching from, so I would love to know in the comments, where are you watching from? And are you watching from LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube? Let me know in the comments. Mohammed, I see you. Welcome to the show. I'm super psyched that you are here. Also, do share this out as well, because Brenda is going to be sharing so much value in this post that even if it's not necessarily for you, it may be for somebody on your newsfeed, and you can pay it forward to them, because otherwise they may not have these golden nuggets of wisdom. Now, a couple of you have already told me that you're really looking forward to this interview with Brenda because you know the power of books for your business, but you're not too confident in knowing what to do, or you don't know how to go about doing it. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's show. But before we get into it, Brenda has got an incredible backstory that I want you guys to hear about. So, Brenda, I know that you came from a teaching background because obviously you're a very nurturing, passionate kind of person. But then things always haven't been easy for you, have they?
No, no. Absolutely not at all. So I'll take it that's my cue to say a bit more about that.
Yeah, tell us a bit about your backstory.
Yeah. So as I said at the top there, a wee lassie from Clydebank, you know, where they built the QE2 and Singer-Sewing Machine Company, for those that used to do that kind of thing. Very industrial, working class background. And, you know, love life, always love life. And I got married really young. Did I tell you I was 17? Oh my God. So I got married really young, and, you know, in the beginning it was fine. Then I had a family when I was 21, and within 7 years, I had 4 children, 8 years, from the age of 21 to 28, yeah, 7, 8 years. I ended up with 4 children, 4 blessings. But life wasn't as rosy as what it appeared on the outside. So I was in an abusive relationship for 20 years. And I don't want to go into too much of that detail, only to say that it's amazing what you'll endure because you think you can change people. And of course, you said at the top, I'm nurturing. You know, I think, you know, I believed I could change people. Now I know that I can't change them. You can only change yourself. And But then what happened was I went to university to become a teacher, as you mentioned, and I did that in my 30s. And because it was a childhood dream since I was 6 to be a teacher, because I just have this innate passion in me. But unfortunately, in my final year, I found myself, things just came to a climax in my marriage, and I found myself homeless with 4 children as I was about to embark on the last year of my degree. And I'd already been studying for 4 years, so this was year 5. And I thought, oh my God, how on earth am I going to do that? I didn't have a roof over my head. I had 4 children. My kids stayed with different people, just for in the beginning. But I was quickly put in a shelter with the local authority, and then after being in there a number of months, I finally got rehoused. So I'd worked my way up. I'd come from a beautiful big mansion, well, mansion in Scotland terms anyway, a big 5-bedroom house, and here I found myself back where I started, in a council flat, So but it doesn't matter, because you pick yourself up. Because my why, and this is important in business, and this is important for writing your book, know your why. So my why was to get myself out of the dark, dark, dark hole that I was in, because I needed grit, determination, I needed focus. And my why was to become that teacher, because that teacher was my passport. That degree was my passport to earning a living, to earning good money. Compared to previous, when I was earning none because I was a housewife. So that there was nothing on this earth going to stop me. So I had to rally around, ask neighbours, friends, people I didn't really know that well, but people wanted to help me. And that's the funny thing. People show up in your life when you're at your lowest ebb. If you think about a story of your life, who's shown up when you thought everything was hopeless? People show up because the universe has a bigger purpose for you. So long story short, I graduated and life changed. I was like, wow. So still single parent, doing everything myself, 4 children, not an easy task. But you know what? I'm Brenda, and I just got on with things and I make things happen. So that's what I did. And then my parents were getting older. My mother was in a wheelchair. I was looking after them on a daily basis. But unfortunately, in 2004, my father died. And the following year, my mother died. And then we lost a nephew at 21 months. And 3 months after my mother died, my niece's fiance died. So we had a lot of really close family deaths within a 2-year period. And so that took its toll, I have to say, as well. But again, you have to look beyond it and not live in it. If that's one piece of advice I would give, you go and look beyond what your darkness is, because there is always light, and that will help you get out of the darkness. So lo and behold, I met an amazing man, and I gave up 25 years of teaching to move to Surrey, where I am now, and I've been here for 16 years. So again, there was lots of transition in there, because if you'd asked me, in the early 2000s, would I live in England? I'd be like, I'm not living in England, even though my mother was from Derby and she was English. I was Scottish through and through. I was never going to leave Scotland. Plus, I lived at Loch Lomond. Beautiful, beautiful place. To come from all over the world to visit Loch Lomond, But I met someone, and I had an opportunity to get away from the absolute reminders about me. You could say it was running away to a certain extent, but it gave me the time and the space to be the woman I am today. So I got a job straight away as a teacher, then another transition, giving up teaching after 25 years. Oh my God, I'd wanted to be a teacher since I was 6. How on earth could I do that? But I realised through all the personal development I was doing and all the leadership training I'd had, that there was a bigger job. I had a bigger purpose than teaching just children. I'm not saying that that's not a big purpose. It is, of course it is. But there was something more I had to do. So just a whole chain of events that I don't want to go into happened. So it was easy for me to give up teaching, even although, I thought. And then I went into coaching, and then I got into books. And so I was included in books. I thought, me an author? So that's going back to that limiting belief. I've come from Clydebank, remember? Well, people, we don't do anything, like that, But no, I thought, oh, that might be helpful for me if I'm in business. So that was my first, I was starting to link dots, join the dots. And then I was in another anthology where I had to write more, and that was an international #1 bestseller. And I thought, I quite like this. Oh, I'm an international #1 bestseller. I thought, this is great. And so that's a bit of the ego short-term gain, which we'll talk about later as well. But still good. You need it for media. We'll get into more of that. And and then I decided, wait a minute, I bring people together. I attract people. I don't even need to try. And I think it's been raw and real, and it's having my inner child out, and it's my integrity. It's just been who I am. And so I decided I'd write my own book. So my first book was Voices of Courage, and then I wrote Voices of Hope, and they were #1 bestsellers. So I thought, wait a minute. And then I got an opportunity to work with a publisher as their children's expert, because I had 25 years I knew how to write children's books, because there's a massive gap between what an author thinks for a children's book and actually what's right for the children's book. There's a huge gap. And then COVID last year. So again, a whole chain of events that I don't want to go into. I created a massive opportunity in space for me to have the right people with me to join me. And I thought, my partner was like, why don't you just be a publisher? I thought, I don't want to be a publisher. That was my first reaction. Then the universe was shouting in my ears, Brenda, you need to do this. So I'm a believer in these opportunities come to you for a reason. So I just thought, okay, just let's do it. Oh my God, Rohini, we're a year old next week. And we have had over 100 authors through Book Brilliance Publishing in 1 year. We are in India, we are in America, Switzerland. We are just global, and we are growing at such a rate. My team's gone from 1 to 3 to 6, and we're still growing. So so now here I am, from tenement block to publishing house. And how did I do it? Just by loving what I do, and just by taking the opportunities, and just grit and determination, because success is always there. You have success. You just need to create it more so that you can feel it and touch it, and it's different for everybody.
Yeah. I think the question that is on some people's mind is, why is writing books so powerful for any business?
That's a great question. Why is writing books powerful for any business? Well, so at BBP, we like to think we're innovative and we're unique. So I take into consideration the fact that I was an educator, and that it's holistic. And this is where we're innovative, because we look at our authors and their writing in a holistic way. So it's not just, let's write a book, let's get it as good as we possibly can. It's writing a great book, because there's lots of foundation put in place. It's about putting your golden thread. Look, we love storytelling. We love to hear people's stories. We've been storytelling since time began. So you have to put your story in it. But the key is, so I call it golden thread, but the key is you don't just tell it as such. You use we go through it in great detail, and you use little quips here and there just to evidence and give reason and let people into who you are and why you're doing it. So it's, yes, you tell story, but it's very strategic. And then we've got your philosophy. Well, what's your philosophy? Well, philosophy is your life, your experiences, your training, your achievement. It's everything that drives you, including your values, to be the person you are today. What is your reality? Now, when you're in business, I know with you, Rohini, you're on a mission. You're on a mission to make a difference. And you're on a mission to make a difference through businesses using video. Yeah, you probably will say it more eloquently than that, but you get my idea. So we're all on a mission. So for me, it's books, but it's not just books. It's a whole process. It's the whole process. Yes, the book's the product, and we'll talk about beyond the book in a minute. So therefore, when you infuse who you are with what you know, you create a signature program, a signature talk that's got your uniqueness, your own stamp on it. Why should we come to you to help with writing a book and not go to, I don't know, Penguin or any of these other big houses, or why should I not just go to Amazon and be a self-published author? There's reasons for doing each. We're a professional partnership author, but the power in the writing of the book, going back to your question, is because you infuse it with all these wonderful, wonderful ingredients, because when you do it in such a powerful way, you're leaving a legacy. Yeah. And we all want to leave a legacy. We all want to be known for something. Rather something positive than infamous, although, you know, some people use the infamy to gain fame, and I can mention a few people that I know who are using their infamy for fame, but hey, each to their own. But as long as you're coming from a place of love and a place of service and wanting to inspire others to become better, then that's a winner. That's a winner. You know, and we do it in a multimedia way as well. So, you know, audiobooks, you know, through video, through paper book, through digital. So it's knowing all the different ways in which to get your story across, and of course, public speaking.
Now, a couple of people have already mentioned from the preview post this morning that they really like the idea of writing a book, but they either don't have the time for it, or they don't know where to start, or there's a lack of confidence in writing the book as well. Now, what would you say to those people?
So first thing I would say to them, not got the confidence, that's all right. Because by the time we've had a conversation, and by the time you see a clear plan for clarity, and by the time we have these conversations, as a series of conversations, your confidence soars and soars and soars as you go through the process. It's a journey. It's the author's journey. Some might call it an author's adventure, which I think it is, you know. So therefore, the confidence, you don't need confidence, you need courage. And the courage is to take the first step, to take action. Do something. Don't keep talking about it, because I know I talk about things, and then I have to coach myself and say, wait a minute, Brenda, you keep talking about getting fit, but what are you actually doing? Put in some action. So it's all about the courage. It's surrounding yourself with people who've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. It's listening to other people, because nothing's as scary as you think. You know, think of a time. Here's one of the tricks. Think of something that you thought, oh, I'll never be able to do that. I can't do that. Maybe it's start a business. Maybe it's take someone on in your business. Maybe it's letting go of some of the tasks and starting to delegate like a good leader. So think of a time when you thought you couldn't do something, and think, oh, how could you at doing it now? So we all start from that place of lack, from that place of, I don't want to step outside my comfort zone, or it's the I can't mentality. But just flip it, because when you take action, whether that's a conversation, it's reading, it's researching, whatever, it's taking you a step closer to your dream. You know, and that's what this is about with a book. It's making dreams come true. Every single one of my authors, bar none, in business, and my children's authors and my fiction authors, say this is a dream come true. So when you've got someone like me and my business and my team who believe in what we do so much, it's got that ripple effect, and you can't help but caught up in the stream. You know, it's like when you see someone really celebrating, next thing you know, you're clapping and you're happy, and you think, oh, how did I get here? I was feeling miserable 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So it's about courage for me. It's about courage. And from the courage will come confidence, will come the know-how. Because once you talk to someone like me, we can easily put your mind at ease. We talk about publishing made easy, and everything is easy. It's just the human condition that makes things complicated.
That's interesting, because it all starts with mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we can often build things up in our own mind, and actually it's a lot simpler than we make out it to be in our minds.
Absolutely, and we know that, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've all been there thinking things are more complicated.
Guys, if you have any questions for Brenda, do drop them in the comment section below. And let me know as well, have you been thinking about writing your own book? I'd love to genuinely know about that. And Brenda, I've just thought of another question, like, what's kind of the process of going about writing a book? Because a lot of people they like the idea of it, but they don't know how to do it.
So again, there's various ideas out there of where you should start. And they're all different. The thing is, we're unique, so we've got to find what works for us. But you're right, it is about the start, and it's eating the elephant one step at a time. So sometimes, let's say you're a fiction writer, for example, it's just about getting those ideas down on the page. It doesn't matter the order, it doesn't matter, you just have some great ideas. Just start writing these ideas, and actually, one of the best things to do is discipline yourself and say, right, half an hour in the morning, I'm going to start writing some of my ideas for my plot, for my characters, for why am I wanting to write the book. Ask these powerful questions before you even start. Why do I want to write my book? Who's it for? Who's going to read it? How am I going to let them know that I'm here and that I'm writing this brilliant book? You know, so it's not always as simple as starting to write the book per se. So I already talked about golden thread, is part of your story, and philosophy. So I take people through a process where we start at the very beginning. So we start, when were you born? And what's today now? Okay, we've got 5 decades, 6 decades, 3 decades, whatever. And we start to look into your life, to the highs and lows. Yeah. And then we match that up with, well, what have you learned in your life? What did this darkness teach you? What did this joyous moment teach you? Because what's important is you know what the learning is, because that's the philosophy you're wanting to teach. What did you learn? So I know 1,000% what type of person you need to be successful. I know what you need to do. Yeah. And yes, there's a variation of a theme, and it's slightly different for people, but you know the nuts and bolts, you know the foundation. You know, it's like when you're building a skyscraper, you know you've got to dig down before you can go up and out. So even as an author, we build foundations that will allow your book to soar and your business to grow into a global business. So you have got to go deep. And a lot of authors, they miss that step out. They miss that out, and then they wonder why their books maybe not doing as well, or the opportunities are lacking. When you come from a really deep-rooted place, then all of that energy, because it's all about the energy, is transferred onto the paper and the words that you write. And it doesn't matter, even the best writers in the world, you know, you'll have editors helping you along the way. So I'm a structural editor. I have another editor that does other aspects of making sure your book's brilliant for your reader. But for me, getting the structure, when you build a house, you build the bricks. You don't put windows in, and you don't lay the floor before you've got the walls and the roof on. So think of writing a book like that. Get your structure absolutely right, you know.
Speaking of processes, we just had a question come in around motivation. Do you have a system or a routine?
It's about both. You know, that's what I'm saying. So it's about knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you know what works for you, what motivates you. So what motivates you, don't be surprised if you were my author and you went, oh, I just can't get anything written. I would say that's fine. Just put it down. Don't even try. So how to motivate yourself is go and do something you love. Get out indoors. get into nature. What turns you on? What really lights you up? What sets your soul on fire? Some people, it might be playing an instrument, it might be dancing, it might be having lunch with a friend. The thing is, we are way too hard on ourselves as individuals. And it's learning to have that. I don't like balance because that's a straight line, but it's about the harmony of everything. But yes, many of you, the famous authors, will tell you a routine. So, for example, let's take Roald Dahl. He wrote for children and adults, and he wrote 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon, 4 hours a day. That was his routine. But that wasn't to say that he might have missed a day, or that wasn't to say he might have written for 10 hours on a particular day. But the thing was, he committed to 2 hours. I'm sure it was 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Then he played pool. And then I think he went back out around 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And then he stopped for the day. So he'd get his friends over and they would have lunch and they would play pool and he'd have 3 or 4 hours out and then go back and do another 2 hours writing.
Yeah.
And because he was pumped up when he went in and he had his routines, he had, let me remember, it's either 5 or 6 pencils, he had the sharpener, he had everything set out meticulously. But then the juices just came because he was relaxed. And when we get writer's block, it's because we're trying too hard. We're trying too hard. Rather than letting it flow from within, we're in our head. And sometimes when we're in our head, that's when, like, and you're on stage talking, when you go in your head, I know I'm guilty of this. The minute I go in my head and think about what I'm saying, that's when I go, what was that I said? I need to say that again. But when I'm like just now, as you can hear me talk, I've no notes, I've nothing. I'm talking because it's my soul, it's my heart, it's my passion, it's what I know, it's my bread and butter, it's my walk and my talk. So to be motivated, couple of things. Look at to be motivated, what's your end goal? What's your mission? What you want to do for others? What's the service? How are you going to service yourself? That's taking the time out. Even when you think I should be writing my book, don't beat yourself up. Just go take that time out and just come back. And you will be surprised at the productivity. I've done it myself this week, thinking, oh my God, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. I'm overwhelmed. Just go and take the time out and just don't care, and I'm saying don't care, not in a bad way, but you have to make sure you're satisfied before you can give to others. So, it is a bit about having a bit of a routine. It's about commitment to your writing. So I'm working with a client just now and she goes, oh, I'm struggling to find time. And so I was asking her about her day and her week. I went, well, instead of 4 hours at the gym, make it 3, an hour of writing and see that extra time. Why not family time and go a walk? That's as good as going to the gym. And she's like, well, I never thought of it like that. So it's about changing the lens and finding different perspectives. But don't be hard on yourself. You're doing great stuff, and it takes as long as it takes. That's how I don't have timelines like write a book in 30 days. I'm a teacher, so I know how long it takes to learn things and do things to quality. So, I hope that's kind of helped a little bit, Umesh, about motivation.
Yeah, it does. So, once people have written their book, now what? How do they go about using that book as a tool to grow their business?
Beyond your book. This is our big part of who we are and what we do. Yes, we can help you write great books. I'm blessed. I've got 25 years of teaching English. I know what makes great sentence structure, how you need to write it for fiction, how you need to write in your non-fiction books, how you need to write in children's books. So that's one thing. But you've got a book. So what? Because writing the book's the easy part of the journey. So Book Brilliance Publishing, we believe in longevity. So we create these plans with you of what you can do. So we come from a holistic point of view because that's how I was trained as a teacher. So to be an author, write a book, you've got a book, it's published, so what? Unless you educate your authors what they do next, and you're teaching that all along the journey, they're learning, because with us, we've got a 16-week program that you do along the way once we've got your manuscript. We've got training from people like Dee Blick, amazing, who had a book at #1 for 3 years about how you write a book and market it. So she knows what to do. So again, it's about the commitment. So what the book does for you, it's got to be well written. I've seen many books not well written. Over time that comes to fruition. So it's got to be a quality book, well written. But once you're an author, doors of opportunity open. So one of my authors, and my very first author, I've posted about her today, Caroline Purvey. She became #1 best-selling author, and on that day she was on the radio, BBC Radio. She then got an invite to speak in Canada. We had lockdown, so it was virtual, but wasn't the whole thing was they approached her. A note from my own self, people from all over the world. India, I've got a foothold now in India because people have asked me to come and share experiences, and that's why a book is important. It's not making money from copies unless you're J.K. Rowling, Dan Brown and Ian Rankin and all these people. Most people aren't making their £1 million from the sales of the book, but they will make £1 million in their business through the book, using the book, having opportunities. When your book's well written and it takes in your signature program and your signature talk, oh my goodness, that will open so many doors. And there's a million, well, let's go 101 ways you can use your book in order to open doors, in order to be in the media. So you have to be very visible, profile raising, and you have to grow your social media following. Because if you wanted a traditional deal, you need to have tens of thousands of people following you. You need to prove to them that you can sell £30,000 worth of product.
Wow.
Because in effect, I had a conversation with Dee Blick recently, and in effect, it's a loan you get when you get the advance, because they don't just give you that money for nothing. You've got to help them sell that book. So people think, oh, I'm getting 2,000, 20,000, 200,000 for writing a book for, I don't know, Penguin or whoever. And but there's a lot more to it. Plus you lose a lot of the rights to your book, whereas you want to keep 100% control of your book. And obviously, beyond your book, there's opportunity for movies, cartoons, all sorts of things. But it's about who you know. So that's why you need those opportunities. You need to get on podcasts. You need to get in magazines. You need to get interviewed. You have to keep talking to different people. You have to do all the things that you're doing in your business anyway. But when you tell people you're an author and your book actually reflects your walk and your talk, that's massive. So I was speaking to Jenny Lee Grace from who used to work on Radio 2. I think she now works in UK Health Radio. She was at an event that I had put on, and she was telling us that on the radios, when they have got a certain topic, the first thing they do is a celebrity in this field, or what author do we know? They don't go to Amazon to find the author. They go to the book trade and find out, because there's more credibility when your book is part of the book trade rather than just a self-published author. I shouldn't say just, rather than a self-published author on Amazon, because people know the quality checks aren't necessarily there. Not saying they're not always there, but there's a high percentage where the quality checks aren't there. So beyond your book is something we are passionate about, and that takes into my coaching on business and mindset and leadership and all the different things that you can do, and we find out what suits you. What do you love to do? So I don't say, oh, you need to do this. I ask them what they love to do, and we find their natural way, so that they can then promote the book in those channels.
Amazing. Brenda, where can people get in touch with you to find out more about your services?
So I have a website, www.bookbrilliancepublishing.com. My scheduler is there. You can schedule an appointment with me there. My email's there. LinkedIn, all my details are also on LinkedIn and on Facebook as well. You'll get us on Twitter. So we're across all social media. So you can see we have a love affair with social media and learning lots more and more about it and how to go from a couple of hundred views a day to tens of thousands of views a day on your post. So that's a big coup for us this week. So brilliant.
Amazing. And I definitely recommend connecting with Brenda as well, because you'll learn something new from her. Your vibe will be raised as well. I used to work with Brenda a number of years ago when I first started out in business, and she massively helped me out as well. So super grateful to Brenda. We're going to wrap it up here, guys, but do join us next week, the same time, 12 p.m. GMT time. We've got an incredible guest on. We're talking all about how to have powerful conversations and the power of a smile as well, talking all about body language. And if you're interested in being on the show, Live by TV, drop me an email below. You can see across the ticket at the bottom below. We'll be happy to hear from you. And Brenda, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your wisdom. It has been incredible. And guys, if you've liked this, please do like this, share some love, drop a comment, and share this out with people as well. Because you never know who is actually planning to write a book and who this could impact. So do share this out on your newsfeed and in your networks as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here. Have an awesome day.
Bye.